Hey folks, this is a video dealing with trigonometric inverses. And the very first blank that you have to fill out, you already know what goes there. We've said it so many times this semester. Inverses find angles. Now what I'd like to do is take the 6 trig functions and we're going to rewrite them properly. Right now all 6 of them are written as inverses, and I'd like to rewrite them as just normal trigonometric functions. So first of all, when theta is equal to the sine inverse of y, we know that we would rewrite this as y is equal to sine of theta. When theta is equal to cosine inverse, this is going to be y is equal to cosine of theta. And then thirdly, when theta is equal to tangent inverse of y, y is equal to tangent of theta. Now, for your embedded question on this one, I'd like for you to just simply take the other 3 and turn them into normal trig functions. These all are inverses. All of these inverses are undo buttons of each other. That's the whole point of an inverse, is it helps us to undo our trig. Now we have some inverse restrictions that I'd like to go through. The first set of restrictions is simply for sine inverse, cosecant inverse, and tangent inverse. They all 3 have the same restriction. The angle theta, remember all 3 of these is equal to an angle. The angle theta must be an element of, that's that symbol there, it must be an element of, or it must lie in the interval from negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2, if we're talking radians, or from negative 90 to positive 90 if we're talking about degrees. Now I've given you some pictures down here. One of them is a picture of the unit circle itself, where I've marked all of the places from negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. But I've also drawn a picture on the number line showing from negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. The biggest thing to remember about this is when you get your theta, when you get your angle answer for these 3 inverses, your answers are only ever going to be a positive or negative quadrant 1 angle. I'll discuss that a little further when you come to class. The second set of restrictions is going to be for the cosine inverse, the secant inverse, and the cotangent inverse. Again, when you get your angle theta, theta must lie in the interval from 0 to pi, or if you're working in degrees, in the interval from 0 to 180 degrees. Just one small note here, and it was also on the first restriction, but I didn't mention it. Your tangent and cotangent inverse, they're not allowed to include the end values of 0 and pi, or if it was tangent inverse, the end values of negative pi over 2 and positive pi over 2. Because those are undefined places. So it's just a small note. You're not really going to run into that much, but it's just a small note. Again, I've given you a picture both on the unit circle and on the number line of where my cosine inverse, my secant inverse, and my cotangent inverse restrictions will all lie. It's going to occur in quadrants 1 and 2, whether you're looking at the unit circle or the number line version of that.